You're watching the CG Live podcast. Now, the content for these podcasts are a little bit different than our normal pods as we bring on members and do long-form interviews. These were actually recorded live at our events with members that were going on stage to present. So the content is killer. Enjoy the show. Well, hi there. Welcome back into the Live Collective Genius podcast. I'm Leon Barnes, Director of Membership here at the Collective Genius. I just realized I just keep forgetting to tell everyone who I am, and it's probably important every once in a while to remind everyone. Today, I have, or actually now, to my right, I have a guest that's it's really cool to have different asset classes in a part of a community with over 500 members, and there's very few that focus on what Mr. Tom Lehmann to my right here does, and that's manufactured homes. I'm excited to have a conversation and talk to you about your business and your journey.
Absolutely. I love being here.
Good. So we are at our Q4 event, CG Premier and CEO here in Oceanside, California. We're in a boardroom here shooting this really cool boardroom. Lots of business, I'm sure, has happened over here in this room.
And today, lots of business.
Absolutely. We just pulled you out of the speed networking session. Let's start there. Before we get into your background and story, tell me what you've gotten from the meeting so far, day one, and what you started off with this morning with speed networking.
Well, I'm going to start off with this morning. I love the speed networking.
Good.
I just love that whole aspect. 3 minutes, get to know everybody in the room, because I feel that it's important that we all communicate like that. And I love that aspect of that, just the chain reaction of it.
Anyone you meet new that you were like, oh, I like that person?
The guy you were about to, you took me away from.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. I said, hey, we're going to meet afterwards. We're going to talk.
Cool.
Right? It's Leon's fault.
Yeah.
And yesterday, the speaker who wrote the book, it was impressive again.
Ben Nemtin?
Ben Nemtin. His bucket list. My item on that list was to do more with my wife because this business has not driven a wedge, but it's busy. Okay, we took care of my mom, there's kids, her parents. And so I told her yesterday, I filled out my 10 items and I shared it with her. And it was to do more together as a couple. And she sent me a crying emoji because, we forget that there's going to be life after children and everything else. Like this, I always say my role is to be a dad first and foremost. But because this business will end one day and I'll never stop being a dad, but we need to do more as a couple.
Sure, love that. Let's talk a little bit about your story. You were introduced to me, like a lot of members, from Gary Harper, that you work with him on the systems, processes, and sharper business systems. Anytime someone comes my way from Gary, I always know that they're interested in growing through teams and repeatable process, which I love because that means you're developing those people that you hire. You have an interesting story because you came from single family and now you've made that transition. Give us a little bit of background of how you started in this industry and what you're doing now.
Yeah, so my best friend's dad, who was a bit of a real father figure because I didn't have that, he said one day, hey, why don't we go do real estate? I'm doing it. Come and do this with me. I'm like, hey, this should be easy, right? So the first year we did 3 flips. We made $4,000 profit each in a year. That wasn't gas money. And then I realized that I better figure this out. And so then I went off on a journey to learn how to do this correctly, which took me to coaching and other groups because, it was humbling the first year. And I thought that was so important that I was humbled like that.
What was the model that you were doing in single family? Were you wholesaling? Were you hoteling?
No, we were fixing flipping.
Yep.
But we never knew about pipelines. And look, 6 years ago, I couldn't write a contract. I didn't know how to write one. I know a little more than that today, I say.
Sure.
But that first year I spent with a man who has been a really good father figure. And him and I still look back on that year as so good for us. And he's been a dad to me. But then it took me on the journey to, we built an acquisition company where at one point we had 18 virtual assistants, 14 calling and texting every day. I did that within 18 months of my start. And then 2022 happened. Interest rate. So my parents bought their first home in 81. It was 17%. And when I heard the guy, Powell, say, hey, we're going to go to 8% probably, I'm like, that's going to destroy what we do. And I'm looking at my model and I'm like, this is a dinosaur, I figured, right? Because it's been very humbling for a lot of investors, myself included, during this time. And we pivoted into, I had a manufactured home that I planned on flipping We had to get rid of squatters, done it plenty of times. And when the sheriff came, we opened the door. It was a disaster. They took a chainsaw down the middle of a double wide, tried to unhook it.
Wow.
You could see the fleas and bugs jumping. And the guy's like, you going in? I'm like, absolutely not. And an assistant and I, just a process. Let's call. We're going to demo it. We're going to put a new one down, 3 estimates. And just me and a girl in the office did that whole unit in 11 months. It's funny, 11 months later, we made 11 grand. But the process that I saw was, hey, this isn't going to change. Whereas, when you do a fix and flip, even though we did inspections, when you open the walls, everything changes. And I'm like, this is a really repeatable process. And I could take out what I thought was the big choke point in fix and flips as contractors. Because if I don't like the well guy, he doesn't perform, I get a new one. There's a bunch of well guys, right? And think back to 21 where contractors had investors. Now it's a different world, okay? Because volume will dictate what you can do.
Sure.
And then I reached out because you either have time or money to burn. I didn't want to burn time. A bunch of people sent me to Gary Harper. It was like 1-800-CALL-GARY.
Yes.
And then I got on the phone with Jacob, who couldn't sell me, but then they did the PI, and then I met Gary on Saturday, and he was the first person who ever had a really good concept of what I do in coaching. People were like, hey, we can fix what you do. Well, what do I do? Well, I don't know, but we can fix it. No, it's not how it works.
Sure.
You know how he loves Disney in Orlando. He was coming to town. We met at 7:30 at a Starbucks, and by 8 o'clock, I wanted to give him a hug and say, here's a credit card and walk away. Because I'm not an easy sell. But it wasn't a sales process. It was he knew where I was going to struggle.
Sure.
And we are where we are because of them.
So this is only a journey of the last 3 years that you've gone the manufactured route. How's it grown? What does it look like today?
We're about 30% of the Florida market.
Wow. Love that.
If you go to Central Florida, we're more. We build affordable housing in a hard climate. So in 2 years now, we have won the Parade of Homes twice. This year, they made us compete against regular traditional homes. Under 289. Well, they can't compete there. We can. And we won once again, every category, clean sweep.
So what's that process look like? Are you acquiring land to put the manufactured houses on? What's the whole process look like? Because that's different, obviously, from a lot of people that are listening to this, whether they do single or multifamily. This is a little different.
Yeah, so it's that process. We acquire the land.
Okay.
And we'll either do it on our land, but we can do it for anybody. So there's 2 different areas that we work in. We'll work on your land or our land. We'll build to suit, or we'll just build and sell on the MLS.
Okay.
So our goal, our mission is to provide home ownership. First-time home buyers, that's who we serve.
And this is working the best where in Florida and Texas?
Texas, we're starting in Dallas and Amarillo. In fact, I was on the Steve Trang podcast, and somebody reached out because of being there.
No one's ever heard of that show, by the way.
No one's ever heard it, right? The Disruptor podcast, no, right? Guy's like, man, I saw you on there, but he loved the fact that I was a dad first.
Yeah.
So now this is a single father of 8 children. Not only are we coaching him to be not a W-2 anymore, we're going to help him develop these 9 acres outside of Amarillo.
Okay, so you're partnering with this individual.
We're going to partner with him, right?
I see. Okay.
He was willing to mortgage his house. I'm like, oh, stop. No, we don't want to do that. We're going to do this with you and show you how to do this in the future.
Okay.
We're going to teach him to fish instead of giving him one.
Do you see this as the model moving forward that obviously you acquire land, you can do that in any state.
Any state, yeah.
As long as it makes sense from a acquisition standpoint, putting these homes where affordability is tough, especially right now. Interest rates, this in the state of Florida, insurance is skyrocketed.
But not for these.
Tax.
You know what a new insurance on one of my units costs?
That's where I was going to go.
$1,500 for the year.
Yeah, it's different,
with new units, right? Not old units. And to tackle the affordability problem, we also now own the mortgage company. So at closing on a 265 home, I'm giving somebody $15K in credits.
Yeah.
Builder and lender credits.
Sure.
That's why we acquired and owned the mortgage company.
Right. So is the model moving forward? You mentioned a connection that you've made here through Gary as well as
Austin,
the collective
right?
genius in
one of
Austin.
Clients, they wanted to meet the Squires.
Sure.
We've had 2 meetings. Last night was dinner across the street, sit down. Let's really see if we align. We do. Okay, great. So now we can move forward on taking all our process procedures, bringing it there and building affordable housing with them partnering in, I think it's going to be a Kentucky dealership just because of where they found it at.
Sure.
But we'll serve Southern Ohio, and we'll get into Indiana from there.
So I want to make sure that I give a little bit more perspective and some more details on this type of relationship. We talk about the collective genius as the group where you come together and learn from others. But, some people come in and they'll say, hey, can I raise capital? Can I partner? Do partnerships happen? Everything is on the table when you build great relationships. And this is a perfect example.
Yeah.
We have two twin brothers that are in Cincinnati, which for those that know where that is, it's right on the border with Kentucky, and it's just kind of right in the middle of a lot of viable markets right there.
This model works there.
Especially
it's
for what you do.
home country.
Yes, exactly. It's for especially what you do. It's a very Midwest model that would work in Central Florida and Texas and in the Midwest. He has an introduction, and then they're CG Premier members as well. They have dinner last night and seeing if there's a good fit there, if there's some synergy there that they could potentially move forward to. But they were able to break bread and have that conversation. Yeah. That's something that it happens organically when you put smart people in a room together and they say, hey, I'm having some issues potentially with affordability and selling affordable houses, and I've actually been considering manufacturing.
Yeah.
Oh, here's someone that does manufacturing homes as a full-time, and now there's the start of something pretty special moving forward.
I feel that. And what's cool is, you have, I think it's Lenovo Lending, right? Renovo, sorry. And so then he told the Squires that they need to meet me yesterday.
Oh.
He was at the table over and paid for our dinner, no less. He's like, look, I'm going to buy you guys dinner since you already know each other.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
But that's what this group allows, okay? Because he doesn't have a lending model yet for us, but he said he's going to work on it.
Okay.
But he wanted to make sure the Squires were going to meet me.
That's really cool because even though you had already had the connection, he was making sure that the connection was there.
Isn't that a powerful statement of the group?
It very much is.
Nothing in it for him at all at this point. But I think you two should talk.
Yeah, that's the genius of the collective genius right there. It's very special when those type of relationships happen. There's a reason I've been on this side for, going on. This is my 8th year that I'm going into with the collective genius, 11 being affiliated with the group. And it's because of stories like that. You had nothing to gain other than knowing that these two needed to meet each other. There's some synergies there to introduce and have a conversation.
But that shows you the group think here.
Sure.
It's not about me, it's about this.
We.
Right. And I think when we first met, you sold me on that. I met with everybody along. I met with Leon, you and Mercedes, and it was like, you guys are really a community.
Aligned that way. And I will correct you this much. I never sell.
No, but I mean, I was sold on it.
Yeah,
right.
That's exactly it. Like, I didn't mean that to come across negative. Like, it's not a sell. It doesn't have to be. If it's a fit, it's great.
Yeah.
Let me give you all the benefits of being in the group. And if you're like-minded and you want to grow, it's 100%. Never a sell. It's this makes sense. This is a great fit for me.
And, I was sold on a community of like-minded individuals who combine to grow. And I felt at home since my first meetup, which was a year ago in Clearwater.
Year anniversary. Here we go.
Yeah. So this is my start of my year 2. Okay. I don't think I do want to go to the next level one day, right? But I love the fact that where I'm at, how much learning goes on. You teach me every quarter to become a better leader, a better CEO. And I think that's missing in a lot of groups in the sense that, teach me to become better so I can lead my people better.
Sure.
Right?
While also giving you some blocking and tackling. We try to balance that as much as we possibly can. Speaking of blocking and tackling, we're only a day into this. Any takeaways? I mean, obviously you had the speed networking, you had the 100 bucket list yesterday. Anything else that you've taken away from the day and this morning?
The data is always important.
Yeah.
Stephanie was going over that just a little while ago, especially on the first-time home buyer and those numbers, right? Because my mom was Russian, so I always say, the numbers don't lie unless you lie about the numbers, which the Russians did really good at. But, the numbers we are data-driven, all of us. We should be. But we also have to remember to be people-driven and understand that that numbers we were given yesterday, it's an eye-opening. Stephanie has said how she moved up in her price point and that's worked better for her. But for us, by controlling the verticals, we were able to offer more credits to let those first-time home buyers close more. We give more to put people in housing.
Sounds like there's a lot of things that are working for you. And I know that the feedback we get from our groups, whether it's our Premier CEO, Select or Elevate, is we want to know what's working. In this market right now, we need to know what's working for everyone else. And you got a lot of good things happening. Right now, what do you feel like you're operating at the highest level in your business?
In my operations were the actual placement of, we brought in Amanda Dean, who's an operational, she kicked some butt. She is. She ruffled feathers, which is what I wanted. So the first time she came, Austin and her came, and Austin's like, leave the room right now. Just leave the room. And my people were pushed hard. But 2 weeks later, they were like the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
And we were able to dial in and become more operational efficient. So now we're doing things cheaper, cost-effective, faster, less mistakes. And those mistakes get costly.
Sure.
And so that's one of the things we're doing really well now because of this, is being operationally efficient, that when a unit is dropped, we are never more than 30 days from getting our CO. From delivery, 30 days later, we're able to close.
That's awesome.
Right? And that's what they've been able to do, and what we're doing really exceptional right now. And that was we were failing at that last year. Okay? And I said to Sharper, I said, I need this. Okay? I need someone to come in and really drive this home because I can't.
Sure.
And that's what Amanda came in and did. And so that is now, which was a weak spot, a stronghold now. Brought in a new operations manager who knows more construction, hired him from a builder.
Love that.
Because he's used to building 100+ homes a year.
Yeah. We have day 2 here, the remaining of day 2 and day 3. What's on your list coming in that you still want to accomplish, or connection that you need still?
Jesse Beebe provided a great lending connection with Trophy Point, who did not come. Right?
They're in the select only, believe it or not. Yeah, that's why. Their avatar for Trophy Point that's out there, they're a lending group that their real avatar is the person that is growing their business, not necessarily already has a bunch of private money and lenders set up. They do really, really well in secondary and tertiary markets. So what you're trying to do, it's a perfect connection. I'm so glad. This is the great thing about this community, is that even if I have someone at a different tier, Select, Elevate, and you're in Premier, but if it's a good connection and they can help. I had this conversation earlier last week. Had a Premier member that is growing a fund to lend. I know that we have a Kansas City-based member in Select that is already lending and is just ahead of the Premier member with lending.
Yeah.
Made that connection. This is the same type of situation.
Yep.
Trophy Point is a great connection for you.
Because they lend to my business model already.
Because they control all their own paper.
Yes.
They do everything in-house, and they are the people that, in my market, I have purchased houses below $25,000 in the past. Not anymore, unfortunately. But I've bought 2 for $5. This was a long time ago, obviously.
The good old days.
Real good old days. But you can't get an institutional lender to lend on that under $100,000.
No.
Trophy Point will. So this is where that's a perfect example of a connection.
That's what Jesse did. Like, we were just talking, and he was like, he thought they were going to come, but he already put the email, and we've connected via email.
Love that.
And we're going to have a meeting because they lend to my model.
Yeah.
Maybe we can scale together, because we're trying to, look, this is a real singles and doubles market for investors, not just ourselves, right? There's no more of those home run deals. So investors and we need more at bats.
Sure.
When we bring in institutional money to help the investors, we can be the bridge where we don't mind having to draw. We'll put our money to play for our investors. And if you can draw us out quickly, then what does that allow us to do? More projects.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to build that model out with the right partner, because when we get that right partner in place, the growth will be just phenomenal.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
That's I'm sure you'll have other connections, but that's a money one there for you.
Yeah.
Money, it's a couple different meanings there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if people are listening to this, just like someone was listening to that other podcast that you were talking about earlier that no one knows about.
No one knows about.
On if they want to talk to you about manufactured homes, how you're scaling that, or maybe they're interested, they've got a bunch of land and they want to bring you in as a partner, how do they find you?
Facebook under my own name, Thomas Lehmann, at the Property Solutions team at YouTube. We're everywhere on social media. You have to be, unfortunately, right?
I know that. Well, I appreciate you stopping in, joining us for a live podcast here, spreading some information and some knowledge on the manufacturer side. Here's why I fell in love with real estate after I got out of corporate America, because there's so many different ways to serve.
That's the word. Hold on. Let's use that word, because that's the word, what we should do first, right? When we serve, we win.
Yeah.
And even when I've served and lost, you know what happened? Like, I'm just going real quick. Last year, my best deal, I lost 50 grand on. Husband died during the mortgage process. 4 kids, 3 autistic.
Wow.
The realtor and I have done 1.9 million in sales since meeting on that deal, because we came together. We all gave money to make sure this buyer had this home.
Sure.
And we served them, and look how we served ourselves later, not realizing that.
Yeah.
You know?
You can, I think the quote I've heard one time from a very smart gentleman on a Zoom call, he said, you can do well and do good at the same time. Something along those lines. And that's a great example
People
of
for profit, we say.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
and you'll be profitable. You continue to serve and you'll be profitable, especially involving, the teams like Sharper with, you've got so many rock stars that are working there with you, Amanda and and Gary. And so, no, I'm excited for your future. And if there's anything else we can do while you're here in the next couple of days, you know how to, I know how to find you. We got a full team here to help you out.
Yeah, they always do. You guys have been phenomenal, from Mercedes and bringing my wife in and making her feel at home.
Love that.
To everybody else. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Cool. Yes. Thank you for joining me, and excited for the next couple of days. If you would like to be in the room with great members like Tom here, we'd love to have you in the room as well. The best way to do that is go to our website at explorecg.com. There you'll find all the information you need if you're a full-time real estate investor that's looking to scale. We look forward to having you in one of our tiers in one of our rooms in the very near future. I will see you here real soon on our next live CG podcast. For now, that is it. We'll see you real soon.
Take care.
Are you ready to scale your real estate business? Visit thecollectivegenius.com, where real estate investors come to scale. Subscribe to the Collective Genius podcast and hit the bell icon to be notified when our next episode releases. And thanks for listening.